The perimeter alarm shattered 20 years of silence. Two unknown contacts burned toward the archive. Margaret Calloway reached the main console before the second alarm pulse, her hands steady despite the adrenaline.
Lock all sections. Arm turrets. They're not reaching the vault.
One ship bore no transponder, Raiders. The other was a Dominion stealth corvette with military-grade encryption.
I haven't touched a rifle since the research station. It's still second nature.
She moved through the dim archive, past shelves of dead knowledge, toward the one truth that still lived. The vault's biometric panel glowed cold blue. Her palm pressed against it, and the seals hissed open.
Still floating. Still waiting. 20 years, and it's still the most dangerous thing in the galaxy.
She sealed the inner vault, locking herself in with the one thing that could end a war, or start one worse. The docking clamps echoed through the hull. Margaret chambered around. The silence was over. On the secure monitor, the Raider ship docked, and the Dominion corvette shimmered out of cloak.
They don't know it's not a weapon. If they did, they'd bring fleets, not raiders.
She sealed the breach deck, trapping the Raiders between two armored bulkheads. The Dominion ship uncloaked, weapons ports glowing red, aligning with the archive's hull.
I remember sealing Aegis with Dr. Hawk. He said it would either save us or damn us all.
She routed auxiliary power to the nearest turrets, their barrels tracking the sounds of cutting torches.
One command and the core shatters. No more war, no more truth.
Her hand hovered over the destruct sequence, then withdrew. Not yet.
This body's held together by treatments that were illegal when I started. Worth every extra year for this.
She sat against the cold pedestal, rifle across her knees, listening to the thumping of breaching charges. The final breaching charge blew the inner airlock wide open. Jack's core stepped through the smoke. Plasma rifle raised. Margaret watched on the vault monitor as the young Raider captain moved with desperate precision.
Move fast. Stay low. The old woman's got the whole ship wired.
Margaret's finger hovered over the EMP array control, then pressed down. The corridor erupted in a blue static pulse. Jax's squad hit the deck as their electronics fritzed out.
Damn it. She's been waiting for us. This isn't just an old archive.
They're just boys. Still boys, they remind me of the ones I condemned at Tycho.
Margaret switched to the turret controls and opened fire, stitching the corridor with red bolts.
The destruct sequence would end everything, but it wouldn't bring back the people I failed.
On the monitor, Jax's team crouched behind a collapsed bulkhead, pinned by the relentless turret fire. A second alarm wailed. The Dominion had fired a boarding torpedo into the lower engineering section. Margaret's console lit up with hull breach warnings and the unmistakable thermal signature of military-grade explosives.
They're not here to capture Aegis. They're here to erase it.
She sealed off the engineering deck, but the Dominion soldiers were already inside, planting charges on the main reactor. Margaret triggered the suppression gas on every deck. Thick green vapor flooded the corridors. On another monitor, Jax's team choked and scrambled for breathers, his face twisted with fury.
She's gassing us like vermin. But why? She could just blow the ship if she wanted.
2 fronts, no backup, and the destruct sequence would still take 8 minutes to charge. I can't hold them all.
She cross-referenced the Raiders' biosigns with the Dominion's positions. A fragile, dangerous plan began to form. She opened a tight beam channel to the Raider captain. The line crackled with static and heavy breathing.
You've killed half my squad with gas and turrets. What do you want from us?
I want you to leave, but you chose to board. You are not the ones in control here.
My daughter Lena is starving. The Dominion blockade is killing my colony. Aegis can end the war.
His daughter is dying, just like the children I couldn't save at Tycho. Aegis isn't a weapon. If you open that vault, the galaxy will bleed. Walk away.
The Dominion is here to destroy that vault. They know the truth. You are hiding it from me.
Desperate men can be aimed. The Dominion won't expect a raider defending the vault.
My brother died in this war. For nothing. Please don't let my daughter join him.
I am sorry about your daughter, but I can't give you what you want. Find another way.
The channel closed. Margaret slumped against the console, her composure cracked by a single word, Lena. The turret swiveled and fired. 2 raiders dropped, their bodies slamming against the deck plates. On her monitor, Margaret saw a young raider's face. Fearful, unshaven, barely more than a boy. It triggered a memory she kept buried.
That boy looks just like Ensign Varric. I promised to keep him safe. He died in the first wave.
Her finger froze above the firing control. Jax saw the pause and lunged.
Move in. Move in. She's reloading. Don't stop.
His squad surged forward. Firing burst after burst into the turret's housing until it sparked and died. Margaret let the turret go and grabbed her plasma rifle. She backed toward the inner vault door, her boots heavy. The biometric lock accepted her palm. The heavy inner door slid shut, sealing her inside once more.
One more bulkhead between them and Aegis, but it won't hold them for long.
Through the door, she heard Jax's voice, raw and determined. Get the cutter. We're going through. Before the cutter touched the vault door, the main comm screen flickered to life. A Dominion commander glared from the static. The commander's voice was flat, metallic. Surrender the vault, or we detonate the archive. You have 10 minutes.
You think I'll surrender after 20 years? You'll have to kill me first.
A countdown appeared on the screen. 10 minutes, ticking. The Dominion channel went silent, leaving only the hum of the core.
10 minutes. I can hack their detonator frequency if I am fast enough.
She split her console, one hand keeping the turret controls live, the other running a military-grade frequency cracker.
The raiders are about to breach. The Dominion is about to blow us. I can't stop both.
She cut the Dominion channel and focused on the cracker. Numbers scrolled, searching for the kill code.
2 more minutes and I'd have it. But I don't have 2 minutes.
The cutter's whine grew louder, a high-pitched wail against the vault door. Margaret raised her rifle, aiming at the seal. The cracker locked onto the Dominion's detonator frequency, but only for a partial block. Margaret bought herself 5 more minutes.
5 minutes. The cutter will breach before then. I need to make these 2 enemies fight each other.
She opened a secondary channel and patched the Dominion's own comms through to Jax's external audio. Jax's ears filled with the cold voice of a Dominion officer. The raiders are irrelevant. Detonate ahead of schedule if needed. The vault must burn.
They're using me as a distraction. They don't care if we die. You let me hear that. Why?
Because you are not the real enemy. They are. And you are running out of time.
Jax lowered the cutter, his hand trembling. The vault was no longer the prize. It was a target he had to protect.
She's still hiding something. But I can't let the Dominion destroy whatever it is.
The cutter's whine ceased. Silence fell, heavy with a new, fragile ceasefire.
I am offering a truce. We both want the Dominion dead. Help me stop them.
She's been killing us all night. Now, she wants an alliance. Why would I trust you? You already used me as bait.
You are still breathing. That's more than the Dominion offered you.
Jax glanced at his dwindling ammo counter, then at the countdown ticking on his wrist. Survival demanded an ugly choice.
Fine, but you stay on the line. I'll need their position.
I am disabling internal sensors in the forward engineering section. They won't see you coming.
Jax's squad moved through the silence, guided by Margaret's directions into the blind zone behind the Dominion push.
She's still hiding the truth, but I'll use her intel if it saves my crew.
They reached the junction where the Dominion demolition team was setting their next charge. The real fight was about to begin.
Now, hit them hard.
Plasma fire ripped through the junction, catching the demolition team mid-plant. A Dominion soldier dropped, but a wild bolt punched through Jax's side. Jax staggered against a bulkhead, blood seeping through his glove. The pain was a white-hot shard. In his ear, the Dominion commander's voice spat. The raiders have turned. Detonate all charges immediately.
The charges are going off early. The partial block won't stop them all. The ship is going to tear itself apart.
The first explosion tore through the lower decks, a rolling thunder that shook the entire archive. More followed in rapid succession, each one closer to the vault.
Can't stop now. Lena is still waiting.
The ship is breaking apart, but I still have one option left.
Margaret, the deck is collapsing. Where are they regrouping?
The Dominion survivors were already pushing toward the vault, undeterred by the chaos. The fight wasn't over. Margaret watched the Dominion advance on her cameras, then slammed the emergency venting override. The ship groaned in protest.
Vacuum will kill them all. Raiders, Dominion, everyone. But it buys me time to delete Aegis.
Alarms screamed as the corridors began to empty. Jax threw himself into a sealed maintenance shaft just as the airlock doors slammed shut through the small window. He saw his remaining crew, cut off by emergency hatches, their faces panicked before the doors sealed forever.
She's venting the whole ship. She's sacrificing everyone, including us, to protect that vault.
A hiss from behind him, a breach in the shaft. Jax pressed a patch over the crack, his hands shaking. Inside the vault, Margaret strapped on her oxygen mask and breathed in the stale air. The life support readings for the rest of the ship dropped to black.
20 years I've guarded this secret. 20 years of silence. Let it all end in vacuum if it must.
Jax, bleeding and alone, moved through the dark shaft, the only sound his own ragged breath and the distant rumble of the ship dying.
She's not just a guardian, she's a madwoman, and I am trapped with her.
In the darkness, Jax felt the edges of a maintenance hatch. He pried it open and saw a flickering light, the vault's antechamber. He crawled through, collapsing onto the cold floor of the vault's outer security room. Blood pooled beneath him.
Don't move. You are persistent. I'll give you that.
What's in the vault? My daughter is dying. Tell me the truth.
He's bleeding out. His daughter's name is Lena. I can't think about that now. I told you before. It's not a weapon. It's knowledge. Dangerous knowledge.
Knowledge? You killed dozens to keep it hidden. What kind of knowledge is worth that?
Jax tried to rise, but his legs gave out. He slumped against the console, the vault door looming behind him.
My brother died for the Dominion's lies. If you have something that can end the war, use it.
Ending the war isn't simple. If I open that vault, millions will die, including your daughter, maybe.
The photo of a young girl slipped from Jax's bloody jacket. Margaret's eyes caught it, a child with pigtails smiling. For the first time, her aim wavered. The rifle dipped an inch.
Please. What's in there that's worth all this death?
It's a confession, recorded by Dominion High Command themselves. They admitted they started the war. If I release it, the war ends. But every soldier, every officer becomes a war criminal, including your brother. Millions would hang.
My brother didn't die a criminal. He died a hero. You are lying.
But Jax's voice cracked. The memory of his brother's funeral. The folded flag, the honor guard, now felt like a lie waiting to be exposed.
If she's telling the truth, then everything he fought for was a fraud. Then there's no honor left in the galaxy.
I've guarded this for 20 years because the truth could do more damage than the war itself. That's what they want to destroy.
Jax stared at the photo of his daughter, then at the vault, the weight of a terrible choice settling on him.
If the colonies learn the truth, they'll unite. The Dominion will collapse. My daughter might eat again.
Or they'll burn each other for revenge. Your colony will be a crater before Lena sees sunrise.
The air between them crackled, not with static, but with two incompatible hopes, each desperate to survive.
I can't let this die in here. If I do, Lena dies too.
I've carried this weight for 20 years. What if I am too broken to see the right choice?
Then the outer wall blew inward. A breaching charge turned the vault's antechamber into a furnace. 3 Dominion soldiers poured through the smoke, rifles blazing. The debate was over.
Covering fire. Don't let them reach the core.
Left flank. I'll hold the right.
Margaret and Jax fired as one. The moral standoff swallowed by gunfire and the thud of armored boots. A jagged shard of bulkhead caught Margaret across the ribs. She slid down the console, a dark stain spreading. Jax saw her fall. He grabbed a Dominion rifle and fired into the smoke until it clicked empty. He shouted her name, but the sound was lost in plasma bolts and collapsing alloy. Then he dragged her behind the central console, her blood slick on his gloves.
The vault, it needs my palm. You can't open it without me, but I can transfer the key, give you the override. If I do, you'll have to decide. Broadcast can damn millions or let the war go on.
Millions of criminals, or my daughter slowly dying of hunger. That's not a choice. It's a different kind of death sentence.
Promise me, you'll find another path. Something I couldn't see.
He stared at her trembling hand, the override code pulsing in her palm. He reached out, his own fingers unsteady, but no words came.
There has to be another way. Something between full broadcast and silence.
I once designed a targeted broadcast, only to military commanders. It exposes the lies without mass trials, but it needs a direct neural link from the core. It will drain what's left of me.
A way to end the war without dishonoring my brother. But she's the price. Do it. For Lena. And for every soldier who died for nothing.
Margaret pressed her palm against the biometric lock, her life signs already flickering. The core hummed in response.
This body won't survive the feedback, but it's the only worthy death for a librarian of secrets.
Jax picked up the Dominion rifle, checking the charge. "I'll hold them off," he said, his voice raw. A new countdown appeared on the console. 5 minutes until the command broadcast was ready. The core pulsed brighter, a cold blue heartbeat spreading through the dying ship, through the smoke and flickering lights. The Dominion commander and 2 soldiers charged the vault core, their weapons locked on Margaret's bloodied back.
No.
Jax lunged, his stolen rifle barking. One soldier crumpled, but the commander's armored fist caught Jax across the face, sending him reeling against the console. Jax hit the deck, his vision swimming and blood spraying from his mouth. The commander raised his rifle at Margaret's back.
Not yet. Not before the broadcast finishes.
Margaret's trembling hand slapped a hidden panel. A searing ring of blue electricity erupted from the floor plates, throwing the Dominion soldiers into violent convulsions. The shock field faded, the commander and his last soldier collapsing limp against the bulkhead.
Jax, hold them. Just a few more seconds.
Jax crawled to her side, dragging his useless leg. He raised the rifle, one-handed toward the smoldering breach, his breath ragged. Margaret pressed her forehead directly against the cold core. The broadcast sequence initiated, the ship's long, silent antenna humming with ancient power. The broadcast cut through military channels. We, the Dominion High Command, confessed to orchestrating the first strike at Tycho. The war was a lie. On the bridge of the Dominion dreadnought, Captain Voss froze mid-order, the blood draining from his face. Across the fleet, weapons systems powered down. A cruiser's transmission echoed. "Ceasefire. The command is compromised, but not all obeyed." 2 Dominion destroyers turned on each other, their own officers denouncing the High Command as traitors. The transmission rippled outward, unstoppable, reaching colonial listening posts from Kepler to Tycho Station.
She did it. The truth is out. My brother's death wasn't for nothing.
Finally, after 20 years, the lie ends.
Colonial command centers erupted in a storm of comms. "Verify the signal. Hold your fire. The war is over." Margaret opened her eyes one last time, the broadcast complete. The core's light began to stutter, then die. The Dominion fleet was no longer an armada. It was a mob, each ship deciding between surrender or fratricide. The Colonial Council received Margaret's final voice-only message. "The truth is free. End this war." They voted unanimously. The ceasefire order was broadcast across all colonial ships within 60 seconds. Inside the vault, Jax cradled Margaret, her blood cooling against his chest. The core's glow was now a faint ember.
Destroy the core before someone tries to reconstruct it.
I will. I promise.
Take my glasses. Let someone see that a librarian ended a war.
Her eyes closed, the faint rhythm of her pulse fading against his arm. Jax gently removed her glasses, the wire rims still warm. He folded them into his pocket beside the photo of Lena. A soft chime echoed through the ship, the colonial ceasefire confirmation. The war was officially ending.
She heard it. I know she heard it.
Jax typed the overload sequence into the core's console. The countdown began. The data core cracked, light bleeding through fractures as the self-destruct engaged. He lifted Margaret's body, limp and light in his arms, and staggered toward the escape pod bay. Through smoke and sparking bulkheads, he carried her, his own wound pulsing with each step. He reached the pod, sealing the hatch with a final glance at the dying archive. The pod shot away just as the archive's reactor went critical. Through the small window, he watched the Solus erupt in a silent, blinding fireball. The force of the explosion rattled the pod. Jax clutched the glasses, his knuckles white. The pod sped away from the expanding debris cloud, alone in the dark. He stared at the wire rims in his palm, a tear cutting through the grime. Margaret's war was over. The subspace channels were a storm of surrender orders. Through the crackling static, fragments of the colonial ceasefire declaration filtered into the pod. Jax turned Margaret's glasses over in his palm, the wire rims still holding the warmth of her final words.
She asked me to show them. I will. A librarian ended this war, not a fleet.
A clear signal cut through. A colonial patrol hailing on emergency frequency, their IFF confirming rescue.
This is Captain Core. I have one casualty on board. Request immediate extraction.
On the pod's display, the patrol ship's docking clamps engaged. Medics waited on the other side. They guided him aboard, a medic pressing a bandage to his wounded side. His fist never unclenched from the glasses. As the patrol ship turned away from the debris, he watched the last remnants of the archive fade into the black.
Lena, I am coming home. The war is really over.
He closed his eyes, the glasses resting over his heart. For the first time in years, exhaustion was peace. Days later, Jax stood before the Colonial Council, a shard of the destroyed data core in his palm.
Her name was Margaret Calloway. She was the librarian who ended this war.
The council chamber fell silent. Then, one by one, they rose in solemn acknowledgement of her sacrifice. That evening, he walked a dirt road toward a modest prefab home on the edge of the colony. A young girl with pigtails saw him and froze. He knelt, and Lena crashed into him, her sobs muffled against his chest. He held her until the trembling stopped, the war finally over in the circle of his arms. Later, in his ship's cockpit, he hung Margaret's glasses on a metal hook above the console. The starfield stretched silent and still, but the wire rims caught the light of a distant sun. He touched the photo of Lena in his pocket, then looked at the glasses. She had kept her promise. The glasses caught the light, a small memorial to the woman who traded her silence for the truth.